All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Sedona Psychics podcast. I'm Relic.
I'm Jeffrey.
And I'm MA, and today we are diving deep into something that affects everybody, whether you are aware of it or not, our chakras and aura.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about colors, energy blockages, characteristics of chakras, what these energies are about. And this is something that I think we are all kind of aware of on an intuitive level. But we wanted to just kind of start from the ground up. So this is pretty much Auras and Chakras 101.
So let's start with the aura. I know it's a word that pretty much everybody's at least heard before, but kind of you may have no idea what it actually is all about. So let's start with that and getting into what exactly the aura is.
So your aura is your personal energy field, and there's actually layers to your aura, layers like an onion, donkey. It reflects your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, all those energies together. And if something's not right in there, you're gonna feel a little off balance there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a luminous fingerprint, right? Everybody's aura is unique and kind of individual to them. And this is something that, again, I think we're all kind of aware of on an intuitive level. We've all walked into a room and kind of picked up somebody's vibe before they even open their mouth, right? Whether it's good or bad, that's their aura talking.
So auras definitely do have colors. Think of pretty much every color in the rainbow. And everybody is born with usually a specific color for their aura, for their life purpose. And kind of that color's energy is very much what is designed to help you for what you are here on planet Earth for in this life, for that life purpose. Another simple way of thinking about your aura is think of like a koi pond, and the water in koi ponds is always crystal clear. So when your aura is nice and clear, you can see all the fish, you know exactly what's going on. When you've had a lot of toxic or low vibrational things in your life, that's where the water in the koi pond gets really murky and you can't even see the fish swimming around saying, go to Sedona, get a reading at Crystal Magic Psychic Center.
God. I love it. I love it. So pretty much we're going to kind of get into how you can keep your aura cleansed and clear on a daily basis. And again, guys, we're keeping it simple because that's how it should be. There's no reason to overcomplicate this at all. And a lot of it has to do with intention. So the thoughts that you have behind your magic that you're working. Let's start with Relic over there. How would you tell the listeners to keep their aura cleansed?
I think before we even get into how, I think it's just important to acknowledge that you can. I think a lot of people think of the aura as a static, fixed thing. It shifts and changes over time. But like Emma said, with intention, you can kind of steer it in the direction you want it to go. I think setting the stage is important anytime you're doing this kind of work. You want to create an atmosphere that is conducive to what you're doing. So create a kind of, quiet place that's, feels good to you to be in. Maybe light some incense, play some soft music. If not, if you can't do that, at least just kind of get into your own space for a moment. And then, there's lots of things you can do. There's visualization practices and meditations. What would you say are some specific examples you like to give people, Jeffrey?
So, a lot of times people don't have times to turn themselves into a yogi or a shamanista. And with the busy lives, couple things that I really like to recommend to people is, number one, Himalayan salt lamps, like the one you see right over here. They are a spiritual detoxifier. Scientifically, they release ions into the air, which purifies the air in your home. Spiritually, they dissolve any negative or low vibrational energy. So it's I have one in every single room in my house. You can buy them super cheap on Amazon. Selenite lamps are about 10 times more powerful than a salt lamp for clearing your auric energy. And then another way to do it is with sage or Palo Santo. So that's a great way to like cleanse your car, cleanse your home, cleanse your workspace. Sage is a zero balancer. It dispels all negative and positive energy. That's why you always see people using it before ceremonies, because it brings you back to a blank slate, a clean canvas. And then afterwards, like Palo Santo, the difference is Palo Santo only dispels negative energy and allows you to recharge your battery. It allows you to keep all your positive energy. So it's like after you smudge your home, whenever you smudge your home, you need to leave a door or a window open so the negative energy can run out. These things are like mace to like the toxic, murky energy in your auras and in your home. And here's the thing: whenever you do the outside, you got to do the inside. Jeffrey, I feel great. I just feel like something's watching me. Like it's in your living room window, like a peeping tom. I said do the outside. In that, I always tell people to do their cars as well. Like I smudge myself with Palo Santo every single day. Like brushing my teeth, because it keeps my auric energy very, very clear and makes me very aware of like if somebody negative or low vibrational is coming into my aura, like it feels off.
And my personal favorites are sound, so certain hertz that you can find on YouTube and Spotify and things like that. Each one is going to give you a different vibration to clear a different level of the energy in your aura. Another easy one too for the people out there who do not like the smell of sage or Palo Santo or can't handle smoke, Florida water. Florida water can be purchased at any main psychic store, also on Amazon, and it smells more of like, I don't know, I almost want to say a cologne in a way, and that's actually, I believe, how it's sold is as a cologne. But, stick it in a spray bottle, spray yourself, spray your room, and again, set that intention of I'm clearing my space, I'm clearing my energy, and I have this beautiful white ball around me that's encasing my aura and my physical body to keep the energy nice and clear. And you can do this multiple times a day. It doesn't have to be just one time a day. If you're feeling somebody's energy in the other room, please just kind of sit there in yourself and say, "Hey, I'm clearing my energy right now."
And like another one that I like to like really kind of give yourself an energy cleanse is Epsom salt baths. And also, then if you throw in a little bit of rosemary, lavender, and thyme, it kind of just creates a really good protection, kind of like really spruces up your aura, makes you shine and bloom very nice.
I totally agree. I think those are all great ways. And at some point, we'll probably do a whole episode, I'm imagining, on like clearing and all that kind of stuff. Because we could talk about that for an hour easy. But it definitely, there's, some quick, easy ways for you guys to kind of, clear your own energy. All right, so let's talk chakras. So if the aura is kind of the overall energy field around your body, the way I think about the chakras, they are your channels or your portals, right? That's how those specific energies kind of come into your field. In traditional practices like yoga, Ayurveda, they typically acknowledge 7 chakras. Some systems acknowledge more, but we're going to go with the 7 chakra system. And this is not new stuff. Like it gets called New Age, but people have been writing about chakras and auras for thousands of years. I think the
It's been around for a long
texts,
time.
Guys, are about 4,000 years old, something like that. That's pretty much the oldest written record of this stuff. Not new, just coming back into style. All right, so Emma, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so we're gonna start with the root chakra. We're starting from the bottom and working our way up. So the root chakra is red, and this is going to be the chakra at the base of your spine. Jeffrey, can you tell us a little bit about like what that chakra does?
So I like to say red and black for those colors personally, but also root chakra is by far my favorite chakra, kind of in that is where the safety, security, shelter, and clarity are. It's like the foundation for all the other chakras.
Yeah, I would say that I tend to think about it as our very physical energy. It's our connection to our body, earth, nature. This is literally the energy that like keeps us present in the moment. Plus, this is the first chakra. When you're counting from the bottom going up, it's the one at the very bottom. It's kind of the foundation everything else gets built on top of. So it's a stabilizing energy for our our entire kind of chakra system. It's a good way to think about it.
So how would somebody feel if their root chakra was unbalanced?
The best way I like to describe that for people is like, think of every tree out in nature. For however high and how wide that tree has grown up is exactly how far down and how wide its root system needs to be to support it. When you're not grounded in your root chakra, you feel like that top heavy tree in the storm of life. You feel nervous, you feel anxious, you feel stressed, you feel unsure of yourself.
Right. On the flip side, if your root chakra is balanced, you're going to feel more stable, feel more secure. You're also going to tend to be more full of physical energy, right? Again, this is your connection to your body. It's like where vitality comes from. So you're going to be a little more full of life. Passion, enthusiasm, all that stuff, tends to flow a little easier. And again, it's the foundation everything else is sitting on top of. So having that one stable balance tends to make it easier to open your other chakras up, keep them balanced. So I think it's you got to start at the root.
Nice, nice. All right, so next we have the sacral. This one is going to be a little bit above the root chakra. For somebody who's trying to visualize this, this is where a uterus would be in a woman. So it's under the belly button, y'all. This one is orange. What does this one have to?
So the sacral chakra, like if the root chakra is where the primal needs of safety, security, shelter, and clarity is, the sacral chakra is where the next set of primal needs would be, which starts off with sex and sexuality. It's also where all our joy is, our passions are. It's also where all of our artistry and creativity is.
I would say I tend to think about it as that like artistic nature kind of energy. It's definitely social part of us, it's sexuality, it's that like charismatic kind of part of us, right? It's energies that help us connect with other people, which I think is a need, right? We all need to feel that connection with other people. So that helps us kind of connect with others easier. And it's our inner child, inner artist is a good way to think about it.
Right, yeah. So how would somebody who's sacral unbalanced, how would they feel?
Extremely unmotivated. Like you don't know what you want, you don't know what's going to make you happy. Kind of like you have no joy, you have no harmony in your life. Kind of like you're just kind of like blase, blaza. Kind of like you've lost the inner child.
Right. Nothing's exciting. Nothing lights you up anymore.
Nothing gets your motor running.
Right. Side, if your sacral is very balanced, it's going to be very easy to relate to people. It's going to be easy to walk right up to that, that girl that catches your eye or that guy. It's going to be easy to just, float around the party and be a social butterfly. You're going to connect with other people more easily. Also, your artistic stuff is going to flow. It's like when your sacral is balanced, it's like the opposite of writer's block, right? Artistic energy flows more effortlessly when that one's balanced.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be like you write a novel or paint a book. It's like you could take a blacksmithing class. You could go like start turkey hunting. You could like get your private pilot's license because your sacral is just really open and you're getting into those things like you want to get into that inner child. And definitely like when we talk about like developing psychic and empathic gifts, like your sacral chakra is key to that because it's when you're in that inner child and you're really enjoying things and you're in those passionate states, that's when your angels and your spirit guides unlock your psychic and empathic gifts. That's when you find what your destinies are.
And to add on to the sexual aspect of that, people who have suffered through any type of sexual trauma or SA, this can also create a block. So this can also help you become more aware of it to be able to work through those traumas to fully open your sacral up to like its full potential to what it can be.
All right, what's next?
So next we're going to the solar plexus. This is going to be right above your belly button. This one is yellow.
Yeah, this one, I think a lot of people think about it as our intellectual, analytical side, and it definitely is that part of us. But I also always think about this as where confidence comes from. Like this is your I can do what I set my mind to, right? This one oftentimes is literally called our place of personal power. So it's definitely that like confident part of us comes from there.
Also authentic, bringing that full authentic version of ourselves forward in confidence and not in ego.
So like for me, the solar plexus chakra, like simply put, like scientific fact, there's enough neurologic material in our stomach or solar plexus area to create an entire second brain for our body. So you've all heard the phrase before, like, I know it in my gut, I can feel it in my gut. My gut, that's literally where it comes from, is that solar plexus chakra. Kind of, it's your gut, it's your instincts, it's your intuition. It's kind of like how you find your way through the woods and kind of know you're heading in the right direction. Kind of in that, it's that the warrior part of yourself. It's that confidence. It's where bravery and courage come from as well.
Yeah, balanced solar plexus, I would say, is also going to tend to make it easier to manifest. Yellow is thought of as abundant, prosperous type of energy, right? So when you have your solar plexus balance, it's easier to attract things we want, manifest things we want. That probably goes back to that like self-esteem, self-worth part of it. When we feel more worthy, we attract things more easily. But definitely balanced solar plexus is going to make it a little easier to manifest and attract things you want. What do you think about unbalanced? What's that going to look like?
You lack direction, and you can kind of be in those stages of life where you're kind of like a pushover. It's kind of like you don't like, you're going along to get along, kind of in a way. Kind of like the solar plexus chakra is like your radar dish for what you're trying to manifest. It's like the needle on the compass that tells you where you need to go to create change and shift for your best and higher self. Kind of like not what's going to be easiest for you at the moment. Like when you're tapped in with that solar plexus chakra energy, like you'll do the tough thing because you know down the line it's what's going to be better for you. When you're unbalanced in your solar plexus chakra, that's where you work the same job for 10 years that you really don't like.
Yeah, I think we've all done that before. So next we have the heart chakra. I also believe that this one is very, very, very important for manifesting. I feel like this is the area where a lot of our magic resides, is in our heart chakra. This one is green. Sometimes it could be pink. Sometimes I've seen like white glowing light around the heart chakra. Sometimes I've even seen yellow as well, which bringing in all those manifestations, guys. Come on. So what's the heart chakra about, guys?
So for me, like I really think the heart chakra is like the key to like unlocking destiny and spiritual gifts. It's like it's where the vulnerable emotions are. It's where joy is. It's where peace is. It's where faith is. It's where hope is. It's kind of like it's what you need to allow yourself to be is in those vulnerable emotions to kind of like really kind of move forward and like get your kundalini to rise and into balance.
Yeah, if that one's out of balance, it can create a lot of issues. I mean, that's where self-compassion comes from, along with compassion for others. So it can affect our relationships with other people. It can affect our relationship with ourselves, right? So it's definitely it's key to all that. And when it's unbalanced, it makes it hard for any of that stuff to really work out the way we want it to. So I think heart chakra is definitely an important one. What do you think balanced heart chakra translates to? What's that look like?
Someone who loves themselves and like as much as they love other people around them. That's very much for me like the namaste, the light in me honors the light in you. It's kind of like how you treat other people is a direct representation of how you actually treat yourself. And that's kind of like, but some people can be really good about treating other people well, but they still don't treat themselves in that aspect. And that can also be where you're blocked. But it's kind of like when you love yourself, like when you can run into a public park and jump on a picnic table and be like, I love Jabbery. That's how you like, you know, your heart chakra's open and you're like, you're ready to receive.
Yes.
Yeah, healing
yes.
energy too. I always think about heart chakra as like a very healing kind of energy. So if it's
Definitely.
balanced, you know, our own healing process unfolds a little easier.
To help the other people heal on the journey as
totally.
well. So the next one we got is the one that everybody has a problem with. You can sit there and tell me you don't, but I know everybody does, including myself sometimes. So the next is our throat. This one is literally right here, right here. And also the color is blue. So let's get into it, guys.
Yeah, throat chakra. This one's your voice to the world kind of energy, right? It's how you speak your truth. It's how you tell other people how you feel. It's how you get things off your chest. So it's our communicative, expressive kind of energy. It helps us to be more outspoken, more articulate. What am I missing?
It's also how you communicate with your angels, your spirit guides. It's how you communicate with your ancestors. It's kind of also how you just speak about yourself and kind of with that inward dialogue. Kind of like for me, like I really think that the throat chakra is like what brings things into the 3D matrix. It's like you can meditate all you want about manifestation and change, but your spirit guides may be meditating and telling you to be like, hey, you got to speak up. You need to speak your truth. It's the one that can really set things into motion in a positive way, or how you use your throat chakra can really tear down everything you've been working on.
Yeah, so I would say that when that one is really balanced, it definitely makes it easier to manifest things from the spoken word kind of aspect. So affirmation, spoken prayer, all that stuff gets much more powerful when your throat chakra is balanced. So I totally agree. I think people think of it more as they get things off their chest to their family members or friends kind of energy, but it definitely, you could use it to communicate with your higher power, higher self, right? So I totally agree on that.
It's definitely one of those ones that gets tricky with intention, because you just think you're venting, but you're setting intention while you're venting, whether you know it
We've
or
all
not.
heard things like there's a lot of power in words, right? Or ask and you shall receive. That's all tapping into throat chakra power, guys. So ask for what you want out of life. And since we acknowledge, like Emma said, this is one that a lot of people struggle with, what's the unbalanced side of it going to look like?
Either you don't speak your truth and you don't say anything because you're too afraid to create change, or you can't shut up. Like you literally can't shut up, because it's that old adage is like, a wise man speaks because he has something to say. A fool speaks because he needs to be heard.
And it's all about like how where you're coming from when you're saying these things too, though. Like, are you coming from anger and judgment and not a good space? Okay, just not a good space. Or are you coming from like compassion and understanding, or kind of like putting yourself in that person's shoes to kind of help them realize what you're trying to put across? Do you know what I mean? So it's all about, how you say things. Sometimes it is better to be the observer than it is to say all the things, because not everybody is ready to hear what you got to say,
Very true. And that's where that discernment comes in.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, again, that's where that intuition, that discernment comes in of like, should I say something or should I not? Sometimes test the waters, see where it takes you. But we're gonna move on to the third eye, which is right here in the middle of your forehead, right here between your eyes. And this one is indigo. I've also seen it as violet and more along like the purple hues as well. So, guys, what's the third eye all
To
about?
me, third eye is really, it's your source of your sixth sense kind of energy, right? It's intuition, it's empathic messages that you from other people. It's your own inner psychic, inner wisdom, inner knower, right? So that really is where all that stuff comes from. When you have a lot of that energy in your field, when that chakra is open, you're able to more effortlessly connect with that part of you. What would you say third eye is about?
Third eye is like, I totally agree with, it's all about your psychic empathic gifts. It's all about what helps you like progress on your spiritual like inward awakening journey. But it's also very much what helps you manifest everything like you're looking for in life. Kind of in that it literally comes out like a sonar ping out of your third eye. And like people come to Sedona, I don't think they realize like Sedona turns your third eye into a freaking spotlight. And that's like, it's like when your third eye is open, you can manifest very, very easily. So like people that leave Sedona and they're like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't call. I hope he doesn't call. I hope he doesn't call. Guess who's calling lickety split like? So it's kind of like one of those ones you got to think about who you do want, what you do want when your third eye is open, because that's how you manifest.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, all this stuff, I think that it's something that we can practice to get better at, right? It's our intuitive side of us is not something we're either born with or born without. It's something that we can practice and cultivate. And just like anything else, some of us are going to be more naturally inclined to it, but that doesn't mean that it's not something that is accessible to everyone. So I think your intuitive side, even if you don't feel like an intuitive person, it's something that you can kind of cultivate, practice, develop more. So I think that that's an important thing to know. It's not just like a secret thing that some people get at birth. It's something that everyone can tap into.
Martial arts, it's like you got to start off with your white belt, and eventually, like, you practice and you get better and better, like with working with that energy and how it flows.
All right. So last but not least.
So last, we are covering the crown. This one hangs out right over here. This one can be violet or white. I've seen it be both. So let's get into what this one's about.
All right. So crown chakra, this is your spiritual side, guys. This is your own energy that connects you to your own higher self or higher power, right? Or it's your enlightened, awakened type of energy. That's kind of how I think about it in a nutshell.
I pretty much concur with you. It's how you talk to angels. It's how you talk to your ancestors. It's how you talk to your spirit guides. Kind of, it's what allows you to like get and receive messages. It allows you to ask questions to your higher self. All that condensed spiritual knowledge from every past life like you've ever lived is condensed in your crown chakra. So it's kind of like one of those things that when that's really open, like, you're kind of in that nirvana. You're kind of in that state of bliss. You're in that state of harmony. Like, you're a bright white light, and like there ain't really that much darkness around you.
So pretty much the crown chakra is going to be the energy stream that you're connecting to when you're meditating or doing any type of spiritual practices, whether you're doing spells or meditations or whatever it is you're doing. That's the energy stream that we're constantly connected to, no matter what, constantly.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. It's something that, again, we all have that connection, guys. Everybody has that tether to their higher power. The crown chakra is just kind of how we describe that. So,
but there's definitely kind of in that unbalanced state where people can really feel disconnected from themselves, from their families, from their job, from everything that they used to be passionate about. It's kind of like they feel like there's that scene missing, but they can't really explain it when that crown chakras are blocked.
But let's keep in mind on how we can let our listeners know like how to keep this stuff cleared on a daily basis. Like, what are some tips and tricks that we all have that we can share for everybody to use?
Yeah, I think that it's important, again, to go back to, like, don't overcomplicate this stuff, right? There's lots of really simple practices that you can use in your daily life that will help keep this stuff in balance. So again, we talked about the colors for all the chakras. The colors are a really good way to work with the chakras. You could visualize the color. You could wear the color. You could hang the color up in your house or your workspace, right? And just kind of keeping that color around you or visualizing that in meditation is a good way to kind of connect with that energy. So I would say that's like probably the most basic way I tell people to start working with their own energy. Work with the colors, right? They're all colors or frequencies, so it's all connected.
And here's the other thing that like spirituality is not actually that complicated. Like, we as human beings complicate the ever living bejesus out of it. And that's like when it comes to, like, if you want to work with crystals, which I do a lot of work with, I think it's a great way that crystals are lenses that can help focus our intentions, especially if we know what they can do for us. But to keep it simple, you can literally just pick a crystal or a rock that is the same color as the chakra you want to work with, and it will automatically help you tap into that chakra's energy. In that, like, I am very, very big on the root chakra and grounding exercises, kind of like having houseplants or gardening. Anytime you're taking care of any type of plant that actually has roots or anything that has roots, when you water them, you're actually like watering your own roots. You set that intention along with that, and that it'll help magnify kind of what you're working on there.
And to kind of reiterate, it's all about intention.
Yeah, totally.
Setting the right intention for what you're doing is going to really make the magic
Yeah,
work.
I totally agree. I do want to back up just a second because you said work with the crystals. I've told people this before, and then I get this question a lot right after. How do I work with the crystals? So when they get the crystal that's the color of the chakra they want to work with, what's the next step?
Keep it in your pocket, keep it in your purse, keep it by your desk at work, keep it where you sleep at night, in that, wear it as a pendant. Like even little like $12, $18 beaded bracelets can really help push the dominoes of energy in the right direction for what you're trying to get to flow. Like again, like, and the other thing you can do is like you can do crystal grids. Crystal grids are a great way to safely draw power from like your energy, like what's around you and Mother Earth, to kind of like work with a chakra, like, or do a protection grid or clear your aura energy. Kind of like in that, there's lots of information to do crystal grids out there, kind of that you can look up on that.
Well, to keep it a little bit more simple, going back to the crystals, normally what I do, I've done this myself, I've also told my clients this, is, go into the store, find the crystal that's the same color as the chakra, or there are other crystals that help with chakras that aren't always necessarily the same color, but pick what works best for you guys. Like, this is where your discernment and your intuition comes in. So what I do is I actually have people hold the crystal that they bought and actually set their intention into the crystal and hold it up to their heart, and then have them, put it in your pocket, in your purse. I've even had women stick them in their bras, guys. Like, you can wear these things all day every day as long as you're setting that intention with it as
Yeah,
well.
I agree. It really is that simple. And I do think it starts with intention. The crystals, colors, sound frequencies, those are all great complements to your intention, but your intention, 100%, I agree, is your greatest tool. So you always want to kind of start with that and then let the other things kind of complement that intention. But yeah, like we said, keep it simple. Put it in your pocket, wear it, keep it around you. It doesn't have to be complicated. When you get to that next level, we'll do a crystal grid episode or something at that point.
And here's the other thing, that you can literally look up the chakra frequencies on YouTube for each chakra, and just like basically like our human bodies, we are tuning forks, and kind of same along with all these 7 chakras in your aura that we've been talking about. So playing something for like while you're sleeping to balance your chakras and those sound frequencies can definitely help you make like yourself wake up feeling good and refreshed in the day. But there's a lot of different avenues, and like even doing yoga kind of really helps with the breathing, kind of doing any kind of martial arts, anything like that.
Yeah, I think breathing, breath work, movement, again, those are all things that you can incorporate. Again, intention's the key, guys. All right, so what are some daily practice things that you guys like to do to keep this stuff in balance?
So I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but have you guys seen that TikTok trend of like a shimmy a day keeps the sad away? Like, I feel like that's the best way to like keep it simple for everybody and just kind of, shimmy it out. Shimmy out the sadness, shimmy out the anger. And this is something that you guys can do on like a daily basis. So, this is where we're going into of how you guys can utilize this information on a daily basis for
Yeah, I
yourself.
would say there's like probably 2 things I do almost every day. One, I do some visualization. So I literally just picture the colors in my mind's eye, guys. Sometimes I will picture them like kind of flowing down over me, almost like a waterfall of whatever color I'm working with. Sometimes I will picture the actual chakras, and I will like kind of try to see them as a very clear, bright light, kind of almost like a polished crystal ball, right? So visualization, I think there's a lot of power in that stuff. And then I would say the other one is affirmations. I'm a huge fan of kind of speaking things into existence, right? So There's lots of affirmations that target specific chakras. So you can go that route. You can mix and match. You can make them up. Really, I mean, whatever feels empowering to you to say is fine. But I would say affirmations and just kind of visualizing the colors are two kind of like things I do pretty much every day.
And for me, I like to spend time in my garden. I like to work with plants. Kind of, it's just a great way to clear energy. Kind of in that, I have rocks and crystals in my pocket every single day. I use different ones on different days. I always kind of switch it up based on what my energy is feeling like. And then I also smudge myself with Palo Santo every single day. I also make moon water and use that to kind of just anoint myself like holy water. And I can make moon water for different or specific chakras or for all the chakras as well. And I think we'll probably talk about moon water when we get more into like some divinatory practices and things like that.
And don't underestimate the power of intentional boundaries, you guys. Like, energy clearing isn't just meditating and, sitting there in a quiet space and clearing your energy. It's about knowing when to say no. It's also about knowing when to rest and when to unplug from the world, because that in itself can be healing and clearing also. Just getting yourself out of the hustle and bustle, out of everyday life.
I will say, like, one of the things that can recharge your battery more than anything is like getting out in nature and sitting still, like getting away and just relaxing is one of the most important ways that I think people overlook for just recharging and rebalancing your
Yeah, I
energy.
would say that's one of the main reasons people get drawn here to Sedona. They come here to connect with that
Took the words
healing
right out of my mouth.
land energy, right? There really is something about getting out into nature, guys, especially if you live in a place that you don't have a lot of nature around you, right? If you live in a concrete jungle, even more important to get out of that every once in a while and connect with nature, earth. It's important.
And keep in mind, guys, like, you aren't going to be perfectly aligned every single day either. Even us who do this for a living, we're not perfectly aligned every day. Do we try our damnedest to be? Yes. But we're humans still. We're still having the human experience, which comes with the emotions and the stress and everything else that goes on in our human lives. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're not feeling perfectly aligned or something feels off. You still need to honor yourself on those days as well.
Like tending to your aura and your chakra is like taking care of your house, it's like cleaning your house. If you only did it like cleared your aura once a year, that's like only cleaning your house like once a year. It's kind of gross.
Somebody messy then.
And so it's like, just think about it that way. And it's like, here's the thing, like, for all those outdoorsmen out there, it's like, you take care of your equipment, you take care of your gear, and it takes care of you. Kind of like you pay attention and take care of clearing your aura, it will definitely let you know what's good and bad in your life because it'll vibrate so clearly in that koi pond. And when you're balanced in your chakras, it's kind of like you're doing the things that you really like and enjoy in life. And that's the reason why we're teaching you guys about this.
So, yeah, I think also the interesting thing to think about is like it's spiritual, energetic hygiene, right? It's almost just like regular hygiene. It's just something you got to do all the time, right? You wouldn't take a shower once a year, right? You shouldn't only cleanse your energy once a year, right? So on that note, also showers are a great place to clear your energy, guys. Water's a great clearer of your energy field. If you can come to a place like Sedona and go relax in the healing waters of Oak Creek, even better. But if you can't, set that intention when you get into the shower to not only physically cleanse yourself, but energetically let that water wash away whatever heavy energy is in your field that you don't need.
So guys, just remember, slow down, take some deep breaths, set some intentions. Kind of, if you're nervous or anxious, grab a red or black rock or wear those colors. And then it's the alignment is there for you.
And we'll all get there eventually. We all do. So again, just don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself some time and things get better with practice.
Yeah, I would say that's one thing that I've noticed with people is like there's really no right or wrong color to have. You have the right energy in your field already for what you're going through. That doesn't mean that we can't get in the driver's seat a little bit and, you know, steer it to where we want it to be, but I really just feel like people have the right energy in their field that they need for what they're going through. So yeah, you can get in an intentional space with a little bit, but I also don't think it's something that like people should lose sleep over at night. It's, you know, it's something that, again, don't overcomplicate it. And yeah, just know that everybody can influence this stuff.
So, guys, if you're wanting to get way more into this, we do have people here at the Crystal Magic Psychic Center that have a lot of knowledge about this. You can book with anybody online or come on in, hang out with the crystals with us here too, and we can totally get way more on a deeper personal level for you.
Or if you just want to come in and grab one of our brand new Vortex guides for free. It's the world's most amazing Vortex guide for free. So please feel free to come in and grab one of those if you're going to go out here and try and like work with your energy, the energy out here in Sedona.
And if you've never seen what your own aura looks like, we do aura photos here, guys. So we're here every day, 10 to 6. And that is something that we offer every day. You don't need an appointment. You can just pop in. Yeah, so if you want to see what your own aura looks like,
it's aura photos and chakra imaging.
Yes, correct. So, yep, you kind of have options depending on what you want to see, whether you want to see your photo with your colors around it or you want to see the actual chakras. You got options. So stop in, check all that out when you can, if you're here in Sedona.
Well, guys, I hope that you enjoyed your time with us today. Again, please don't hesitate to comment any questions or anything like that. We'll get to you guys as soon as we can. So I'm MA. I'm signing off. Stay magical.
I'm Jeffrey. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you.
All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.